Hi everyone, Gemini 3 Pro image aka Nano Banana Pro model was launched by Google this week, and it has taken the internet by storm. So let's go ahead and try it out. So in this video, we'll start with some explanation about Gemini 3 Pro image, Nano Banana Pro. We will look at some of the images that I generated that kind of validates the capabilities that Google claims. Then we will jump to the internet and see some of the really cool images that people are generating with Nano Banana Pro. There is a lot of buzz around it, so there is a lot of exciting stuff over there. And then finally, we will look at things that didn't work for me. So we'll talk about that. To begin with, this is a whiteboard image generated by Nano Banana Pro. The input I gave was the Gemini 3 Pro image model card and Gemini 3 Pro model card. If you go through this document, everywhere it says for more information. When we ask about architecture, it says Gemini 3 Pro images based on Gemini 3 Pro. For more information, go look at the other model card. So it's important that we combine both, right? So what is the easiest way to review? I used Nano Banana Pro to create this infographic on a whiteboard, and we'll go through that, right? So the first step where I want to focus on this is capabilities, what it will do and what it will mean to us. There is text to image generation and editing. These are the two capabilities that have always been there and it was there for Nano Banana Flash. Now it's for Nano Banana Pro. It is a giant leap when it comes to the quality of images that it can generate. To start with, the size of images, we were limited with 3 options. I believe it was just square, and then I don't think we had 16:9 ratio with Flash, but here you can pretty much generate any rectangular square shape you want. There is a strong improvement, which we will see in some examples. I'm sure we are going to get amazed. Secondly, there is multi-character editing. If you have multiple characters, you can actually bring different characters together. But there are some images where people bring Bruce Lee and Mike Tyson together, Albert Einstein and Donald Trump together, and things like that, and then you can develop a story around it. One of the examples that DeepMind have given is that they brought 14 characters together and created a group photo. They gave 14 different photos and then created a group picture. Very consistent, very cohesive photo. And then the third one is chart editing infographics. Really good for editing charts. And number 4 is doodle editing. You could draw something on the paper and let Nano Banana Pro make it into an image. Works very seamlessly. And the last one, which is not the least, is the real world knowledge. What differentiates is that because of Gemini 3 Pro's reasoning capabilities, it makes a lot of good assumptions. If you give a situation to it, it reasons and looks at the real world information of what that would mean. It basically creates a very relevant output. For example, one of the examples I had was generate an image showing how to ride a bicycle. I did not tell the model how to ride a bicycle. It looked up how to do that and then it came up with this output. One more thing that needs to get highlighted is that the text is so precise for the most part, which makes it very professional. It could be used for a lot more than just creative work. It could be used by a lot of businesses for creating slides, infographic, and so on. You can see there are a couple of spelling errors, so you might be wondering, what is this guy talking about? One of the best things I actually learned is that when you see spelling mistake, when there are a lot of text, you can actually ask the model to take a look at the same image and fix the issues. And it did, right? So you can see this is the same image, but the spelling got fixed because I just asked the model to go and fix it. It does a great job. You can see there is so much text in here and no problem. Earlier we would get, if you say text, it'll type TKT or something like that, right? For human, it would say HUMMN and so on. But that is not happening anymore. It is pretty good and consistent. So that's about the model itself. It can take up to 1 million tokens context window, whether it is text or images, which is a lot. So you could actually give, as the example I said before, you could give multiple images and put and then create a collage. So things like that is possible only because of this context window. And the output token length is 64K, which is not great, but remember, we are generating one image for which 64K is good enough. Only thing we know about Gemini 3 Pro image model was that it was built on Gemini 3 Pro as the base model. I believe Google has moved away from the diffusion models, which we have seen in Stable Diffusion and even the previous Imagine model and all that, where and it has now gone into, started using this multimodality of Gemini 3 Pro as the base. And I think it is basically Gemini 3 Pro because it reasons as well as Gemini 3 Pro. On top of that, I think they fine-tuned the model to work with images, and it does this magic. So I believe it's basically Gemini 3 Pro with a little bit of fine-tuning on top of it because of its reasoning abilities that I see, and it just works like one model. You're not selecting a different model and so on. You just select the thinking model, which is Gemini 3 Pro. One of the reasons why we are not seeing those spelling errors like before was that when we talk about Gemini 3 Pro, it is using transformers, right? Transformers, what it does is it maintains the attention. It remembers self-attention, right? That's what transformer is about. So it remembers when generating text, it remembers that, okay, I generated these 3 letters, so I need to be generating this next letter, right? But unfortunately, there isn't much technical details available. Hopefully it comes out in a few days and I can share that here. But it's amazing how this model works. Now, in terms of availability, Gemini 3 Pro image, Nano Banana Pro is available for AI Pro and Ultra customers on Gemini. It is available on the third-party platforms like Higgsfield. I believe it's also available on Canva, Figma. So all those professional platforms also have started using this. But unfortunately, it's not available for free yet. Hopefully, in the near future, it is available for everyone to use and have fun. Now, moving on. So we talked about this, right? This is one image that I wanted to show to understand how good the text generation is, how good it reasoned. It looked at the real world data and then it generated the images and, more importantly, all the text. No error, nothing at all. Totally logically perfect, right? And this is another example I want to talk about. I didn't tell the model how to make Indian butter naan, but it totally understood how it is made, came up with the best image, I would say. I don't think it's very hard even for professionals to do it. There are probably like a handful of professionals who can generate an image of this quality for a recipe. Phenomenal is what I would say. You can see the details here, the bubbles coming out of this naan. You can see that. I mean, it's amazing. You can see the naan is being dipped into the curry. You can feel that it's actually being taken out of there. So the hand is taking the naan out of that curry. And I also look at this. I just took one of the old temples. It's a 1,000 plus year old temple in India built by a king named Rajaraja Chola. And I asked it to create an infographic on top of the image, and it did perfectly well. This top stone is 80 tons and so on. Perfect, no complaints at all. I have been to this temple and I can say this detail like that talks about interiors is perfect. No mistakes at all. I also generated an image of a rock star writing a novel. Did a good job. One thing that was weird to me is, why is there a typewriter? Do people still use typewriters? But maybe I'm being nitpicky, but I didn't mention any year, so maybe it just went with some older years. But yeah, probably if I mentioned the right year, it would have upgraded the technology, right? In fact, who writes novels on a book anymore? Anyways, right? So we looked at this version. I actually asked it to make that guy as a 1930s person. So wow, look at this calendar. It added 1936 calendar here. What would be interesting is to go back and check if these dates, this weekly calendar is exactly as it is for 1936. So yeah, I verified that the month of January starts on a Wednesday, so it's perfect. It is a 1936 picture. It's the same guy. Look at the character consistency here. His clothes changed and his hairstyle changed and the background changed. Otherwise, it's a perfect image. So at this point, let's go to X and see some of the interesting prompts and outputs that people generated. Here is one that Andre Karpathy, the popular ML engineer, posted. He took a math exam question paper and asked Nano Banana Pro to write down the answer, basically explain step by step. And it did. He used it to verify ChatGPT to verify the solutions. ChatGPT didn't find any mistakes, right? It found a couple of spelling mistakes, for example, but other than that, there is literally basically said the problem is solved and it's correctly solved. Think about it, right? How could students use this? How could professors use this? How could researchers use things like this? It's amazing. You could actually enter a GPS coordinate and a time, an hours. Nano Banana Pro takes you to that time. So for people that don't know what this is Jesus Christ and the other two thieves that were crucified along with him, and it is believed to be the state. It's amazing. So it just takes you to that era, right? And I also saw that there are a few other people that generated this is not even a real picture. Someone just gave the coordinates and this is happening. I really like this feature where you could give a coordinate and see what happened at that time. This is the other one that Sundar posted, which we did with the Brihadishwara temple, Thanjavur as well. It's a infographic of Golden Gate Bridge. This was posted by Google, Nano Banana Pro. They explained how Transformer works. They created this flow chart and it's perfect. It's perfect. It just explains it very well. No problems at all. Very professional looking as well. All these outputs are coming with just 1 or 2 lines of prompting, right? So look at this. This is the other one, amateur photograph of from 1998 of a middle-aged artist copying an image by hand from a computer screen to an oil painting, all that recursive feel. Really, it's hard to say this is AI generated. It has the flaws of an amateur photograph, right? It's amazing. I mean, even look at this. This painting has slight variation to this, which you would expect. I mean, if this whole thing was exact copy of this, then it is not really a painting. There are some flaws in this face, which is amazing to me. Look at this. It can even copy your handwriting. It can write down in your own handwriting. So this user gave a picture of a question and it solved it correctly in his own handwriting. And this is also very impressive. Someone gave the picture of their gym, photo of their gym, and it gave a top view of how it looks. It has all the details that you need, like this plant and the shoes that are placed there. Amazing. And here is something about food. People generated food images. Really cool. And look at this. They created a person who does not exist, right? Is there any flaw here? Probably no. I don't see any flaws here. It's just perfect. I mean, obviously it doesn't have the same eyes, which is fine. Annotation diagrams, we saw this, right? But this is moon landing annotation. And to me, think about this. What could Gemini 3 Pro be looking at if it is behind the Waymo cameras, right? How much of annotation it'll be doing and sending information to the models to self-improve on. The possibilities are just unbelievable. And again, this is possible because of its ability to reason, its ability to go look up the current data, and its ability to create perfect text. This again is a simple slide that was created by Google. These are some behind the scenes pictures of some iconic moments. This is obviously Muhammad Ali, his win, his famous picture. I actually don't remember the opponent. I think he's a popular. It's probably Joe Frazier, but I don't remember. Amazing moment, right? This is a very popular meme photo, and the behind the scenes picture is amazing. Look at this iPhone launch behind the scenes. How cool is that? Britney Spears, Baby One More Time, behind the scenes. Wow. Could you actually find any flaws? This definitely is 90s. There's no way this is not 90s. I mean, the camera, the technology, the people, their genes, it's all perfect. This is obviously Gangnam Style. Albert Einstein, how realistic. He's teaching at Princeton University Department of Physics, and his handwriting is awesome. This quite popular meme. So there is a bunch, right? And again, this one, so this is another thing that people have been doing, like take any object, separate it into different parts and annotate it. It's like anatomy of anything that you want to look at. We saw this one before. Look at this. What they've done is, I think they've created a Nano Banana Pro and then went to VO 3.1 to create a brief video of it. Amazing quality. Likewise, this is the annotation of behind the scenes. So this is combining behind the scenes and the annotation. It's awesome. Great job, great job. This is handwriting one. So this is again the coordinates one, right? Here is Hiroshima, I believe. Yeah, Hiroshima. I don't know what image this is, but I'm sure it's some historic image. This is the fall of Berlin Wall. You know, the thing is, I actually didn't know, but just by looking at the images, I'm able to tell what these things are for the most part. So here's India in 1947, Independence Day 1947. I've seen some movies where they tried to recreate 1947 Independence Day. It does look like that. It looks so real. And this is another one that I did. I took my photo and asked it to create a front page poster of me as an actor in different eras, and this is what it came with. I think it maintained the consistency of my face. I obviously look like this 2020 now. This is more close to reality, but everything else is really good. This is another interesting thing you can actually create. So this guy gave the prompt as well. You can create any character. Gemini Nano Banana Pro is creating images of people that earlier it would not create. It used to say I cannot generate a celebrity image, but now it doesn't care. It's almost like somebody unleashed it. This obviously it's all Game of Thrones reference, and this is another hilarious thing. Try Gemini 3 or most intelligence model, and Sam Altman is like he's all bloody in his face. Yeah, so that's amazing. So here is another interesting prompt I thought I'll share. So imagine we have made a camera so small it can be carried by an ant. The image we are seeing was taken from that camera, and as a golden retriever runs by to catch a tennis ball and generated this image. This is beautiful. No one has ever captured an image like this, I would say, in the entire world. Kudos to Nano Banana Pro. This kind of image is probably going to be really useful for product models and macro photography. Yep, you can also fill in crosswords, puzzles with Nano Banana Pro. Alright, it's amazing, guys. It's been a long video. I said there are a few things that didn't work for me. I'm going to talk about those. This is a landscape design plan I got from a company nearby. It has a bunch of plants and they annotated. I always struggle to imagine how these plants are going to look like, and I asked it to create a satellite image of that. It did a decent job. It didn't do a perfect job. For example, I needed 2 crepe myrtle here. It only placed 1 crepe myrtle. This is excellent. I love it. This, it did a good job. But I think in the backyard, it missed a bunch of plants. I did not have these plants in the plan. It added those. This was okay, but it did miss a bunch of plants here. I did not have these tiles placed around the house all the way. I only had tiles still here. So then I asked it to, I feel like it probably struggles because there are multiple variables, like it's beyond 14 variables. There are so many plans it has to imagine. It may have missed something. It made some assumptions around the tiles and all that. I think it also only put the plans where it was annotated. Like only where there is an annotation, it put those plans. Otherwise, it just basically assumed there is nothing. That's a miss, I would say. It's okay, but it's not great. Then I asked it to, using that image, show me how it would look if I stood near the pergola. And it gave me this picture. Honestly, this is so lame. If you look at this plant here, I don't have any plants nearby. There is just one tree here. But you can see from next to the pergola, it came up with a bunch of flowers. It's totally wrong. It didn't even have this Eagleston holly tree. I asked it to add it anyway. This is not even what I wanted. So I think there is some work to be done in terms of consistency, bringing multiple factors in one image. I think this is like one of probably like really complex ones. And I'm expecting reality here. If it was completely imaginary, then I think I'll be happy, but I'm expecting some reality here. So that is the problem, some work to do. And I created this flowchart, production flow for Nano Banana Pro, explaining how it works. I think it did a decent job, but there are some confusion here. What is this text prompt and these things are going? Where are they going? It doesn't make any sense. Are they going to just fall off here? And then there is another user prompt here. What is happening here? I'm not following. Is it going through this? So how can this big cube go through this small pipe? It's confusing. Converting to vectors and all that. You see there, all this is good. And then towards the end, it delivers to user, but then here there is a quality check. So what does it mean? Does it go through this and then come back? Then why do I have this all the way behind, right? So that's kind of weird. It felt like there is some logical error here. I have tagged Nano Banana Pro to take a look at this on X. It had some spelling mistakes, which usually get fixed if you ask it to take a look at it and fix it. And finally, this is the other image that we looked at earlier as well. I know if you are a Tamil speaker, you will know that these texts are actually not good. I guess Nano Banana Pro's multilingual capabilities are not entirely there, at least for the Tamil language. These big texts, they are perfect, no problem. And style, what it shows, everything is totally I can relate to. But this white text is total junk. Yeah. So those are the things. Overall, this is amazing improvement, giant leap. But a couple of things they need to improve, like, in terms of number of inputs it receives. I think how many inputs, how many logical characters it can handle, because I think of each of these plant as a character and how many characters it can handle. So that's something they need to work on, and multilingual ability for text generation needs to be worked on. But otherwise, it's an amazing model. I think it's worth getting subscription to use this model, honestly, because it does everything for you. It reasons and then generates image, which you can use to VO for video generation. Quite useful. Thank you everyone for watching this video. See you next time.